Less than 24 hours after the Syriza party has announced the big winner of the Greek election, its leader Alexis Tsipras is sworn in as prime minister. As the diplomatic row over the Israeli prime minister's planned speech at the United States Congress intensified, Benjamin Netanyahu reiterates Israel will not accept an agreement that would allow Tehran to pursue a military nuclear program. The notorious commander of the Lord's Resistance Army in Uganda, who was arrested last month after giving himself up, prepares to hear the charges against him at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. And New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio warns residents to brace themselves for one of the worst snowstorms in the city's history. Good evening. You're watching I-24 News. I'm Michal. We begin with the election results in Greece. Less than 24 hours after winning a clear majority of the votes, leader of the Syriza party, Alexis Tsipras, is sworn in as the country's new prime minister. Syriza agreed on forming a coalition with the small right-wing Independent Greeks party. The Syriza campaign focused on ending austerity, and Tsipras vowed to bring an end to what he called the humiliation and defeat resulting from the bailout imposed on Greece. The Eurozone's finance ministers are set to meet today and discuss the election's outcome, as the 240 billion euros bailout agreement still hangs high above Greece's head. A short while ago, I spoke with Victor Eliezer, Greece's envoy for Yediot Ahronot, who gave us the latest on Syriza's astounding achievement.
Look, it will be a very difficult job for this new government, yet the final formation of the government has not been finalized. But what is sure is that Mr. Tsipras has to bring a balance between his promises to the Greek citizens and the immediate needs for financing the commitments of Greece towards their loaders. So you see, it's a very difficult job. Nobody knows if Tsipras can succeed in his targets. People feel, from one hand, they feel, let's say, they feel the hope. They feel that the dignity has returned to them. From the other hand, there is, of course, a concern among the businessmen, at least. There is a concern because of the uncertainty with the relations with the Germans and the Europeans. Let's not forget that just a few minutes ago, Christine Lagarde said that Greece has to respect the international commitments. So, you see, the voices have started to create here, after the climate of happiness, a climate of concern for the next day.
Meanwhile, in a first comment on the election result in Greece, a spokesman for German Chancellor Angela Merkel said Germany is willing to negotiate with the new government in Athens.
The
German government is willing to work with the upcoming Greek government. Greece has worked hard to tackle the reforms. In our view, it is important for the new government to take action to foster Greece's continued economic recovery. That also means Greece sticking to its previous commitments and reforms.
It is a common rule and common sense that the Commission has to work closely together with whatever government a country has, and that's what we are doing with Greece.
And as the election results become clearer, analysts now estimate that Athens may have regained its chance to renegotiate austerity measures with the EU.
The Greek people have suffered a lot since 2010, so they need hope, and the Syriza party and Mr. Tsipras have given this hope to Greek citizens. However, the majority of Greek citizens do not expect that there is a real room so that Greece can end all these austerity measures which were applied by the previous governments. At the same time, even if they see that the Greek government can go to the table with the creditors of Greece and renegotiate, they will be happy, and this is what Mr. Tsipras will attempt to achieve in Brussels and other international centres. At the same time, I don't expect any Greek government to commit suicide and cancel previous bailout agreements. On the other hand, however, I think that they have a chance in renegotiating up to what extent this policy of austerity is useful not only for Greece but also for the European Union.
And moving to the Middle East, in Iraq, the army says it has liberated the Diyala province from Islamic State control, retaking all populated areas of the eastern province. According to an Iraqi army general, the state security forces are now in complete control of all the cities, districts, and sub-districts of the Diyala province. The final battle for a populated part of the province took place from Friday to Monday in the Miqdadiya area. 58 Iraqi troops were reportedly killed in the battle, as were at least 50 Islamic State fighters. Now, as the row over Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's planned visit to the United States continues, Netanyahu took time to address the Iranian nuclear threat again today. Meanwhile, a senior Israeli official said it's impossible to determine that an agreement is near. He added that, quote, it's hard to see a scenario in which negotiations end before late March. Netanyahu spoke while visiting Israel's military industries.
The agreement being formulated between Iran and the superpowers is unacceptable to Israel. It is a dangerous agreement for Israel, the region, and the world. It leaves Iran with the capacity to produce the necessary material for a nuclear bomb within several months, and later the ability to produce dozens of atom bombs. This is why Israel strongly opposes this agreement. And I, as Prime Minister, say it in the most explicit way. We will do everything to prevent Iran from arming with the capacity to produce nuclear weapons.
Dominique Ongwen, the notorious commander of the Lord's Resistance Army in Uganda, was arrested last month after giving himself up in the Central African Republic. He was taken into custody last week at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Today he prepares to hear the charges against him, as this next report details.
Known as the White Ant for his brutal command in the Ugandan rebel army, Dominique Ongwen is appearing before a judge at the International Criminal Court to hear charges against him. That's 4 counts of war crimes and 3 of crimes against humanity, including murder and enslavement. The one-time child soldier rose through the ranks of the Ugandan Lord's Resistance Army and is among 5 senior commanders indicted by the Global Court back in 2005. Those remaining are still wanted by the ICC, including group leader Joseph Kony, now thought to be hiding in one of the most remote places on earth, deep in the forests of Central Africa. Since giving himself up in the Central African Republic last month, Uganda has been pushing for Ongwen's conviction as the first member of the LRA to face the justice system, and they say his crimes extend far beyond their borders.
He was actively involved in combat operations against the people of Uganda, against the peoples of Southern Sudan, against the peoples of the DRC, against the people of the CAR.
Monday's pre-trial appearance is only the beginning, intended to verify his identity and inform him of the charges in a language he understands. But many see his appearance in the dock at The Hague as one step closer to ending the rebel army's reign of terror in large parts of Central Africa.
Eastern United States braces for what meteorologists say could be a historic blizzard. More in the next report by ABC News.
It's the Northeast versus the Nor'easter.
Prepare for something worse than we have seen before.
50 million people are braced to take a bruising from the massive blizzard barging towards the East Coast. Forecasters expect conditions will be dire.
Whatever normal safety precautions you take in advance of a storm, take even more.
Be careful.
Icy weather over the weekend has already knocked many off their feet in the region. By Monday night, they'll be measuring snow piles in feet. Snowblowers are facing blowouts. Along the Massachusetts coast, they're gearing up and boarding up, facing gusts up to 65 miles an hour.
It's the wind that we're really most concerned with.
And shoppers crowding stores, racing the weather to stock up on provisions.
Just trying to get in the parking lot here was insane.
Picking up a shovel, and absolutely in prep for the storm.
Mountains of salt are being moved to fight mountains of snow. Expect serious air travel disruptions. Already more than 200 flights affected today at Chicago O'Hare alone, 91 canceled, 348 delayed.
We are preparing to not leave the house for a few days.
Experts say that's the best storm preparation of all.
And that's all the time we have. Thank you for watching.